Today is Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. This is Read Through the Bible.
Hi, everyone. This is our recap edition of the book of 1 Samuel.
So we finished the book of 1 Samuel this morning. And so after these books we finished, we've offered also a recap edition where we step back and look at the whole book that we just finished.
Right. So if you're listening to this Friday morning, there's also a new episode for 2 Samuel for Friday morning. So.
This is like an extra episode. If you have time, you want to listen to it. But after every chapter, we always kind of stop and we look back and we just say, okay, what was that chapter about? And so now we finish a book, and so we're stepping back and we're saying, what is this book about? And we want to give you like the broadest of outlines, and then we also want to give you micro summaries of each chapter, which are just really short snippets of maybe the most important things of the chapter to memorize, or even most unique things of the chapter to memorize.
Yeah.
Memorable. And that you can even look down and it can be conquerable to even memorize, to work at, to know what's in the chapters. Okay, so 1 Samuel is about?
Okay, at the very biggest level, it's about King Saul.
Okay. Except King Saul doesn't come until chapter 9. So
right.
Before chapter 9...
1 through 8 is about Samuel.
Okay.
And so he's a very transitional person. He's the last of the judges, but then he's also really basically a priest and even a prophet.
Yep.
And he's going to anoint the first two kings,
Yep.
King Saul and King David.
Yeah. So in the broadest sense, 1 Samuel is about Saul. However, it's in the broadest sense is about Samuel and then Saul.
Right.
However, there's another person who takes a lot of space here in 2 Samuel. 1 Samuel.
David enters the scene in chapter 16,
Yep.
and he's not the main character, but he's present from 16 until the end of the book.
Yep. So a good way to understand this is
Samuel in 1 through 8,
and Saul,
in 9 through 15,
and then Saul and David.
yeah, in 16 through the end of the book.
Yeah, and so I will link a very nice picture by a guy named Steve Thomason, is I think who made this picture, artistically kind of showing just the three stages of the book of 1 Samuel.
Right. Yeah, it's very helpful.
Yep, Samuel,
Definitely.
Saul, and then Saul and David.
Yep.
Very helpful just to kind of see that big picture. So we're going to go through these micro summaries, and we've tried to do is like 7 words or less. And we have, before our episode here, we've kind of gone through and wrestled with what would be good words to use or not good words. And we'll talk about some of these micro summaries when we come up to some of these where we really talked about
Yeah.
and what we chose and what would be more helpful. Okay, so chapter 1.
Okay, chapter 1 is Hannah prays, Samuel born.
Yep, and that's the whole idea about Hannah going up to the temple. And if you remember that she was a barren and she was praying, and Eli thought she was drunk, and finally Samuel was born and dedicated to the Lord. But just those were Hannah prays and Samuel's born in chapter 1.
Yep. Okay, chapter 2, Samuel dedicated, Hophni and Phinehas rebuked.
Yeah.
So those are sons of the priest Eli.
Eli, yeah. And so really Eli was the one rebuking them, but you just only have so much space. You can't even include Eli in here is what we did. And when Samuel's dedicated, that was also Hannah's song. Kind of. So if you know that Samuel's dedicated, like if you know the book of 1 Samuel, that's when Hannah gave her song, when she dedicated, gave him to the Lord for service. Chapter 3.
Okay, chapter 3, Samuel called, Eli rebuked.
That's when the Lord calls Samuel and says...
Right, when he's a boy.
Yeah, Samuel. And
he thinks it's Eli, but it's God calling him.
And then Eli asked for the message, and it was a rebuke to him.
Okay, chapter 4, the Philistines capture the ark, and then Ichabod.
Yep, and so here's like one of those code terms.
Yeah.
Like Ichabod means like the glory has departed. But like this is the place in the Bible where Ichabod is mentioned. And so there's just the word there, so you need to realize just how God's glory is departed.
But with that, the ark was captured, and then Hophni and Phinehas were killed in battle. Then when Eli got the news, he fell over in a chair and he died. And then either Hophni or Phinehas' wife had a baby named Ichabod.
Yes.
And she died in birth. So, like, all of that is wrapped up in the word Ichabod.
Yep, the glory is departed.
Right.
Okay, so chapter 5.
Dagon falls before the ark. And that's the Philistine god.
The fish god.
Yeah.
Right, the ark is brought into the temple. Dagon falls before that.
Right. And they move the ark around. And, okay. 6, the ark returned to Beth Shemesh.
Yeah, and that's, remember, returned on this cart.
Yes, with the milk
pulled by the milk cows who'd never before been yoked together, and it was a
Yep.
miraculous thing. And then brought to Beth Shemesh.
Yes.
Yep. And where people looked into it and they died.
Okay, chapter 7, Philistines confused by thunder, Ebenezer.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here in terms of seeking counsel and things like that. But just the confused by thunder is pretty unique there. And then Ebenezer, like,
That's a memorial stone marking their victory.
yep, Evan means stone and Ezer means strength, and it's just a stone there. But like there's a song, here I raise my Ebenezer. It's good for you to know, oh, that comes in 1 Samuel chapter 7. Okay, chapter
Okay,
8.
8, Israel demands a king.
Yep, that's pretty straightforward.
So,
That's
yeah,
what's
this is
there.
where it's turning to leading up to King Saul.
Okay, so that's Samuel right there, and now we have Saul. And we find Saul, chapter
Okay,
9.
chapter 9, Saul looks for donkeys and meets Samuel.
Okay, and there he's looking for his dad's donkeys, Kish, and just it looks like it's all circumstantial.
Yeah,
but then
like-
Samuel's even told, "Hey, someone's going to come, and he's the one you should anoint."
Right.
So it just shows the sovereignty of God. And then in chapter 10,
Saul anointed king.
Samuel anoints him. He's the prophet and the judge who is in charge of these things.
Right. Okay, chapter 11, Saul defeats the Ammonites and proves himself.
Yeah, and this last part about proving himself is, we just added that because after he's anointed king, there's a big question. Is he really the one? Can he really do this?
Yeah, there were people who doubted.
And then he defeats the Ammonites, and everyone says, "Oh, he's the guy."
Yeah. Yep. Okay, chapter 12, Samuel's final words and warning.
Yeah, so I've even written a Bible about how this is Deuteronomy-esque and Joshua-esque.
So like at the end of Deuteronomy where Moses gives his final address, it's the same thing. It's words and warning. And then Joshua does the same thing.
Yeah, it's like history of Israel, and then also a warning that you need to obey. 13.
Okay, 13, Saul plays the priest.
Okay, so here we had discussion about what you would prefer.
I had Saul impatiently offers a sacrifice.
And I think that's accurate, and that's more precise, and that's the same number of words. Because Saul wanted to go out to battle, and Samuel delayed in coming, and they didn't have texting to know exactly when he's going to be there, and he went ahead and sacrificed. It's bad for a
Which he
king to
shouldn't
do
have
that.
done.
He should not have done
This
that.
is very bad.
And you can remember that. What's that again?
Saul impatiently offers a sacrifice.
Or you can just say Saul plays the priest.
And you like that because it's a little bit more memorable.
Yeah, it's catchy. And
yeah.
that's the idea of these micro summaries. If you can make them catchy, I think that's really helpful to then use, 13, plays the priest. Boom.
And if you know the story, you know what's going on there.
And you know that he was
he's
impatient.
impatient and he offers a sacrifice.
Also, chapter 13 and 15 are where Saul goes astray, and
Yes.
because of that, he loses the kingdom.
Right.
And here's one of the reasons why he lost the kingdom, because he played the priest. Okay,
Yep.
14.
Okay, 14. Jonathan tasted honey against Saul's vow.
Yeah, and so Saul made a rash vow there, but no one should eat. But Jonathan didn't know about that, and he tasted his honey, and Saul was ready to kill him.
Yeah. The people really stood up for Jonathan.
they said,
So
"No, don't do that."
He just won a victory for us.
But it showed you Saul's just willingness to sacrifice anything for his glory and his kingdom.
Yeah. Okay, 15. Saul spares Agag and animals.
From the Amalekites.
Right.
Oh, there's another A.
Yes.
We didn't include that there, but he was told to kill the Amalekites, destroy them all.
Okay, yeah, destroy everybody, every
he-
living thing.
He spared Agag and animals of the Amalekites. I like that. AAA. That's really good.
Okay.
And chapter 13 and 15, those are bad chapters for Saul, which you add those together, it's 28. When we get to 28, that's really bad too.
Right, and because of both of those, 13 and 15, he's told by Samuel he's lost the kingdom.
Yep, so there's 1 through 8 Samuel, 9 through 15 Saul, and now we have 16 through the end of the book,
Is
Saul
and
David. Yep.
Okay, 16, Samuel anoints David. Spirit departs Saul. So all this time, Saul has been, climbing. Then, in 13, he kind of started doing bad, and now he's really doing bad here.
Yeah,
and now
so-
David's going to start to rise.
Yeah, 1 Samuel tells of the rise and demise of Saul. And he's going down as David here is ascending.
Yep. 17, David defeats Goliath.
Yep. And that's all you need to know, and that's a famous story, and you should know much about that story. Yep.
Yep. Okay, 18, Jonathan and jealousy.
Yeah, that's a short.
Yeah, a really short and kind of catchy title for that.
Yeah.
You also had thought about Jonathan's friendship and the women's song.
Yeah.
And so Jonathan's friendship with David starts here, and then the women's song is what really prompts Saul to be jealous of David, because they're saying Saul killed his thousands, David killed his 10,000s, and Saul realized, oh, if that's what they're saying about him, what's going to stop him from becoming king?
And a bunch of other things happen in chapter 18 after this woman's song is
Yeah.
that Saul tries to
spear
spear
David.
him twice.
He has David marry Michal, but requires David to get Philistine foreskins. And
Yes, it's all driven
he's
from
hoping,
jealousy.
He's hoping that someone will kill David.
Yeah, so I liked Jonathan's friendship and the women's song, but then when you said, hey, Jonathan and jealousy, I'm like, oh, that's perfect. So if you remember 18 is Jonathan and jealousy, and then kind of remember the story, that'll be super helpful for you. That rings.
Okay, 19. Michal helps David escape, parentheses, Alcatraz.
Yeah, and here's like a little code that has helped us because Yvonne's from California, and we visited Alcatraz before, and there's a movie about Alcatraz and the escape about the goat's hair over this image, and it just is exactly the same. So we remember it by Alcatraz. Maybe you don't, but you can feel free to modify any sort of micro summary you have that's going to help you.
Yep. 20. Saul's anger level, Jonathan shoots arrows far.
Yeah, that's really hard, but it's Jonathan is testing just Saul to see how angry he is, and we see he's really angry. Then they had this arrow code, and you just said even arrow code might be good there if you remember what that is. I like Jonathan shoots the arrow far, meaning far means it's beyond the target, so you should leave, David.
That's what the code said.
Yeah, if it was short, then you could stay, but it was long, so you can go. That's why the word far helps.
Yeah, and after that, David and Jonathan make a covenant, and then David leaves. But
Yep.
Okay, 21. Ahimelech gives bread. David feigns madness.
Yep, David is fleeing. He needs bread. And
He got
Ahimelech gives
showbread
the
from the
showbread.
tabernacle.
Yeah, which was like, whoa, what do you do that? And chapter 22.
Then Doeg kills 85 priests at Nob, because Doeg saw what happened in chapter 21. He tattled on David, told Saul where David was, and so then Doeg came and killed priests.
Yeah, but if you remember Doeg's name, Doeg the Edomite,
Yeah.
kind of rings true. Okay, chapter 23.
23, David delivers Keilah.
Yep, he's sort of...
That was just a city that he was there, and he protected them.
Yep.
24, David spares Saul's life in the cave.
Okay, so 24 and 26 are really close.
Uh-huh.
So even 26 is...
David spares Saul's life in the camp.
Yep, so 24 is the cave, 25 is the camp, and in between them, we have this story...
Yeah, about Abigail.
Yep,
I
and
mean, you
what's
could
she
just
do?
say Abigail.
You could just say
know?
Abigail.
That if you know the story
Yep.
well enough, that would do it. But
Yep.
Abigail pacifies David so that he doesn't kill their household. And then foolish Nabal dies.
Yep.
And David does marry Abigail.
Yep, so there's a lot there. So like even in chapter 5, if you remember Dagon, like that would be something
Yeah,
good.
that's
And
true.
Even in chapter 7, you remember Ebenezer. That'd be really good. In chapter 4, Ichabod. And
Right.
19, Alcatraz. Like even one word that
Yeah.
prompts, like that really helps
And
even in terms
25, Abigail.
of... Abigail would be great. And 24, camp. And the cave. And 26, camp. Like things like that would be super helpful.
Yep.
Okay, 27.
26, David spares... David spares Saul's life in the camp.
We did that. Yep.
Okay, 27, Achish gives David safety in Ziklag. So David's fleeing to the
Philistine
Philistines.
territory, and he was-
King Achish, that's who that is. And Achish gives him a city.
He came to believe in him. Yep.
Yep.
Chapter 28.
28, Medium of Endor calls up Samuel.
Yeah, and
that's
where
really
Samuel
bad.
rebukes Saul, but 28 is the sum of 13 and 15, so these are the bad chapters.
And okay, then 29, Philistine commanders reject David.
Yeah, and that's where Ziklag had believed in David and said he should go and fight with the Philistines. The Philistines are like, no, he might turn.
Yeah, we
And
can't
so
trust him.
they rejected him. And so even Achish said, well, you can't go, David, because they gotta trust in you.
Okay, 30, Amalekites burn Ziklag. David recovers all.
Yeah, so kind of when he was away,
Yep.
Then
Then
he
the
comes back,
Amalekites came
and he
and
did this heroic thing, and he recovered everybody, his sons and his
Yeah.
animals and all his property, like daughters and wives, and it was great. Okay.
then 31, Saul and sons die.
Okay.
That's in a
And-
battle with the Philistines.
Yes. And thus ends the book of 1 Samuel. There is our recap edition. Hope you enjoyed it. And we will see you tomorrow morning in
the book of 2
Samuel.
Samuel.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.